mmejitokeza kufuatilia watoto wenu. Ndugu na dada wa
tunaenda paka pale. Kupitia miguu. Lakini kama mkiandikisha mnakuja kusaidia, mnaandikisha hapa, hata sisi tukimbie. Tujaribu.
Au sio? Unaishi mbali na hapa?
Hapana, mimi ni jirani tu hapa.
Hii third edition, mwaka jana mbona sikukuona mwaka juzi?
Nilikuwa, lakini after walikimbia, nilisikia tuandaa kukimbia. Nikashinda wanajirejesha wapi?
Sasa wewe katika mbio hizi uko na mtu ambaye ndugu dada?
Sina. Sasa ndakana mnatuambia mapema. Mimi ndani jaribu.
Kimbia nyumbani KTN, fuatilia mbashara. Naam. Basi ni awamu ya 3 ya mbio hizi za kimataifa za Iten. Peleke basi kwa nikukumbusha tu kwamba siko peke yangu katika mbio hizi, katika matangazo haya ambayo yanakujeni mbashara, bali niko na wanahabari wenzangu Davis Mberia na mwanahabari wenzangu Robinson Okenye, hali kadhalika Steven Ruto, ambaye watakuwa wanadondoshea tu matangazo haya. Wewe kazi yako unakupakulia tu pale sebuleni, unafuatilia tu, usijali. Wewe piga kapu la mursik, piga kapu kombe pale cha chai, wewe tulia alafu ufuatilia tu mbio hizi, manake ni mbio za kimataifa. Haya, Robinson Okenye, wacha kopo la murusiko, wewe endelea angalau, manake sauti pia nayo inaanza kupotea. Ndugu yangu Robi, uwanja ni wako bwana.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to the third edition of the Iten International Marathon. Yes, remember the race was flagged off officially at 8 a.m. and the women were the first to go and the men have just left. And of course, it's all about the race to dethrone the 2023 winners and Naomi Chepkorir, who won in the women's race. We'll be taking you through that journey to see who will be the winner of the 2024 edition of the Iten International Marathon. A very, very cold morning here in Elgeyo Marakwet County, but of course the athletes on the roads are braving that. They want to make sure that they're the ones rather who are winning that 1 million Kenya shillings, and of course put their names in the history of this marathon. It's in its third edition. Today, I am joined by a legend when you talk about running in the country. Who am I talking about? Lorna Kiplagat. Good morning, Lorna. How are you?
Good morning to you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good to have you here. I mean, is it always this cold here?
Iten is known for really being cold at some
Yes.
some point, but it can be also in January, it can be warmer a bit.
Yes.
But we are so used to this cold. That's
Yes.
why whatever we run in cold weathers abroad, we really don't feel affected because we are so used to it.
Yes. I mean, you've taken part in a lot of races. What does it take to win a 42-kilometer marathon?
To win a marathon is not a joke. Happen like you win because somebody else was less trained, but it is also the mental part is much more. So the
But it's 70%. You are from here in, or rather, you have a camp here in Elgeyo Marakwet County here in Iten, and I'm sure there are times that you normally go for morning runs, and today it has bends. There's a hill. How as a former athlete, you went through this. How did you?
This is so tedious. It's if you win a race, if you win this race in this course, I mean, you can win everywhere in the world. It's tough.
Yes.
It's high altitude. Where they're starting is 2,700 meters high, and that is really, really high.
Yes.
And they have to run down all the way to 2,000, under like about 2,400. So apart from the
Yes.
is the altitude, and you really must be having huge lungs to be able to breathe through this altitude and the course, which is also very challenging. So I admire those who are running today, and that's why Iten is really one of the best places to train in the world. That's why we have so many people from all over the world coming to train here, and we host some. A lot of them at the high altitude training center where we've established. So this is a really amazing course, and it is incredible. It's one of the challenging in the world.
Yes, I'm just from where I'm seated. I can see a tent that has your name. What is it all about?
Because of what I experienced during my running career,
Yes.
I thought after retiring, there is no need to just leave it to kill what experiences that I've had in life. And that's why we have started Lorna Sports Coaching,
Yes.
where we have a hub where we are coaching people from Kenya and all over. Coaching, he's helping recreational runners, more for recreational, but also we will also focus soon with the elite athletes. So we hope in the coming years we will have a champion coming out of Lorna Sports Coaching.
Lorna Sports Coaching. And that is, when you talk about sports coaching, that's something that I also saw Elgeyo Marakwet County, they want to take it seriously when it comes to athletics coaching. They said that they want to have almost 500 coaches trained from this county to help people out there. What's your take on that?
We have to be very serious as a county of champions. We have to be very serious also on coaching, because imagine we have about 3,000 athletes. If we have 3,000 athletes, elite athletes who are really targeting to make in life, we need to have coaches who are supporting them also. Otherwise, the balance is not there. So as a county of champions, they really have to be serious also. And otherwise, they will not, if we are not going to be serious on coaching.
look at this marathon. We are taking a look at this marathon, and when you are running and you are leading such a marathon, you look back. There is no one in the vicinity. It's all you. What goes through your mind when you are running this way?
If you are running ahead of everyone and
Yes.
nobody, there are two options.
Yes.
One is maybe you started too early.
Yes.
Two is maybe you are so much stronger than the rest. And of course, when you are way ahead of everyone, it gives you a challenge to maintain the pace and to know the rest to catch up on you.
Yes.
If people now, if the rest of the team or the rest of the pack catches up on you, then you will be completely finished. You will be so demoralized, and of course it's a challenge, and it's always good to give a try. I've always during my competition times, I also did the same, and sometimes I caught up experience, but it is always good to to be focused, to dare to do that. This is daring.
This is daring.
Yes.
Yeah, to do is to dare.
Yeah, to do is to dare, like just dare,
Yes.
and then see what will happen.
Yes, and you took part in a lot of international competitions. How different is it with international competition as per se compared to the local ones?
International competition, of course, is when you have everyone around the world running, competing with you. You have the best of the best, and also here locally we are to be in another vicinity, competing out of the wall. And when you win outside there, and especially in the major races,
Yes.
then you will be one of the best in the world, and that category only that you've been given to be the is any athlete is looking for.
Yes, of course, the best of the world. At the moment, Kenya holds both the men and women's record. The men's record set in Chicago by Kelvin Kiptum. The women's record set by Seth month ago, of course, in Chicago again. And it was the first time we had a woman run under 2 hours, 10 minutes. How did you feel that?
Record under 2 hours,
Yes.
under 2 hours 10
Yes.
is just amazing experience, and it's amazing results.
Yes.
No one would have ever thought and imagined it during our lifetimes
Yes.
that we will see a woman running under 2:10. Now it has happened. I mean, Paula Radcliffe ran already a long time ago 2:15, which we thought it's amazing, but with a new of training possible, and I still congratulate her for doing that. A challenge, but maybe not too much a challenge. It looks like women are getting faster and faster from men, and normally, the difference between men and women is always between 8 minutes. So it's not really like it's a wow, but it is possible.
Yes, it is possible. Ruth Chepngetich holding the current record. 57 seconds. Very, very impressive. And the men's record, of course, held by the late Kelvin Kiptum. Now, Lorna, there's something I wanted to talk about, and that is, we are getting to the 16 days of activism. It was launched yesterday, and it's all about, on gender-based violence, and you've been very vocal in this. I know you are very passionate about Tirob's Angels also. What are your thoughts on this sensitization of the community on gender-based violence, especially when it comes to athletes?
I think these gender-based violence cases should be, should really. It's good to sensitize. I'm just wondering why did it even reach here, and how did we reach there? But
Yes.
it is good to say no in the strongest terms possible. Like, people should live amicably with each other. There is no reason if somebody. People have to just be sophisticated in these kind of things, and I think also the sophistication in our lives is bringing us to this far, and but to Naikemea in a very strong term possible. Like, let's live amicably,
Yes.
let's be sophisticated, you know, if those kind of things happen, it means mentally you are not mature at all. And so we should stop that completely.
Yes, it's all about the 16 days of activism. It's all about sensitizing the community on, the wrongs of gender-based violence. Yesterday, Elgeyo-Marakwet County launched the GBV sensitization program, and of course, we'll be following up to see how that pans out. And as we continue taking a look at the scenic course that we have here in the third edition of the Iten International Marathon, I'm joined by a legend in, of course, athletics in the world, not only it's in the world, that is Lorna Kiplagat. We want to continue with this conversation. She's one of the ladies that has changed the landscape of Elgeyo-Marakwet County when you talk about athletics. She's invested heavily here in this county. And Lorna, Iten received a World Athletics Heritage Plaque, of course, being one of the towns in the world that has produced some of the best athletes that are world beaters. What are your thoughts on this tradition that is in this county?
Iten cutting the pledge from World Athletics deserves it more than anybody else. If you see how many gold medals that have been received, either in World Championship or in Olympics, most of the people will have trained here. And so also most of the athletes who win all those medals come from with the vicinity. So having Iten receiving the pledge, they deserve it more than anybody else. And I really appreciated that what World Athletics did that. And it means like they really focus and they also see the performances, figure out like Iten is the best and we deserve it more than any other place. We are a mega of running, and Iten will always remain the best. Apart from one or two things, everywhere there is challenges. Even in people's families, there is always challenges. But we will overcome these challenges very soon.
Yes, speaking of overcoming the challenges, remember the course record for the Iten Marathon, it was set in 2022 in the men's race by Samuel Nabey, who ran 2 hours, 8 minutes and 43 seconds. And then the women's marathon was won by Caroline Chepchirchir. That was in 2022. She ran 2 hours, 28 minutes and 33 seconds. And then, of course, last year, Luca Kiprop ran 2 hours, 13 minutes and 19 seconds. And then Naomi Chepkori ran 2 hours, 32 minutes and 36 seconds. So it means that the course is becoming harder and harder by the day. And Lorna was speaking to the CEC for sports in Elgeyo-Marakwet County, Purity Koima, and she said that this time they've decided to incorporate technology, that now it's easier to track your results. This is also something positive about this race.
Yes, so everyone running today, they will be having something to track that you really ran the whole race, because we don't want having people that they join somewhere in between. So technology is a big thing. The shoes has technology, but we have also a chip to monitor that you ran the whole race, and so that the results are fair to each and everyone. So here Iten, home of champions, county of champions, and the county government here are very serious about athletics, because this is our livelihood.
Yes, you've spoken about shoes, and I know this is a project you are into. Shoes, talking about the shoes, and it's a conversation that we've seen people have, that if the shoes are making people faster. But do you believe so?
Yes, of course. The shoes is nowadays technology is the big thing. The new shoes we have now in the market makes you run. They've proven that makes you run at least 4 minutes faster than your peer. So if you have 220, you can run for 216. So it makes life easy. And we have to embrace technology. We cannot run away from it. So this is the new era. And we just have to accept it.
Lorna, let's talk about shoes. You're also into that project. Before I let you go,
Shoes, really not yet, but we are more on apparel.
Apparels, yeah.
So even for me, I have a Lona Sports apparel, and for for me, it's more for technical apparel, where you improve, let it make it attractive, and let people feel proud in it, and let people look good in it, so that people can start exercising. I mean, all really into apparel.
Yes.
The shoes not yet, maybe in the future, but not. But apparel is the most thing that I like it, and especially for women also. Yeah.
Apparel for women. Where can people get them?
They can get it at lonasportscoaching.com. So lonasportscoaching.com or lonasports.com. You can. We have our online shop. You can order. We can deliver all over the country. But we have shops. We have a shop in Iten, and also we have a center in Nairobi. Yeah.
Final question. I know you are very, very busy. Final question, because you are one of the athletes that has invested, and you are giving an example to other people on what to do after retiring from running. I mean, what advice will you give to athletes?
What the advice I give to athletes is that as we travel and compete and train, there is kind of a mentality or that has come in us, that when we retire, we should not really let it go. You have to find a way to make it live. We had dreams, and we've managed to be successful in our dreams.
Yes.
Let's always create other dreams. Apart from running, we can create other dreams and use the knowledge that we gained in our traveling and in our competition and in our training, and we can always also study much more and try to be accomplished.
Thank you very much. Of course, that's athletics legend Lona Kiplagat. She's giving back to the community, and she's also saying that after retiring, you can also get another dream. Of course, after you move away from the track or the road, you have to get another dream. After you're done with the dream of athletics, can be either in athletics, you can go into coaching, go into business, and of course, Lona is paving way for other athletes to emulate what she has done in this life. Athletics first, and of course after athletics she's gotten into entrepreneurship. Thank you very much, Lona Kiplagat. I appreciate for your time.
Thank you too, and thank you for having me.
Yes.
And, looking forward to be of if I can do something in the future,
yes,
I'm always available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That is Lona Kiplagat. She's very, very busy. I only tried to get her for a few minutes, and she's given us a lot of wisdom. And of course, it's all about the third edition of the Iten International Marathon. We'll be linking up with Lona later and get to see, aside from the Lona Sports, where she's selling her apparel. And of course, she's also trying to educate, or rather empower coaches. We'll get to see her other projects in the county of Elgeyo about, and of course on they get to give us the experience. 42 kilometers, that is the full marathon, and the marathon is all about running for climate resilience. And the county, members of the county, of course, and residents here is increased in this county. That is why they are running for climate resilience. Running for climate resilience. But remember, in 20, athletics plug for its contribution to athletics in the world. And aside from that, this marathon, of course, is designed to showcase the Iten and its scenic views. And I want us to Davis Beria, who's on standby. We will be crossing over to him to get to hear from him what the winners from the 10 kilometers have to say. The 10 kilometers race has just come to a conclusion. We'll be crossing over there in just a bit to get to hear what the athletes have to say about their experience of running in the morning. It was very, very chilly, 12 degrees to be precise here in. We'll get to hear. Elgeyo Marakwet has produced some legendary athletes, and before we continue with that conversation, I want us to cross over to Davis Mberia, who's with the winners of the 10 kilometers race. Mberia.
Shukran sana mwenzangu Robinson Okenya. Tayari mbio za kilomita 10 kwa wanawake na wanaume ya matokeo ambayo tumeweza kushuhudia humu ndani. Christine Nelimo ameweza kuibuka bingwa katika mbio za wanawake, huku upande wa wanaume John Lomoni akiweza kutoa ushindi. Lomoni, kumbuka kwamba anashiriki kwa mara yake ya kwanza katika mbio hizi, na ikumbuka kwamba kabla ya kuweza kushiriki mbio hizi aliweza kushiriki mbio za Lukenya Marathon kule, akiibuka katika nafasi hasa ya 10, na marathon pia zapitika ambako wanatueleza mbinu ipi aliweza kuitumia, na je, itakuwaje mbio hizi zinamwandaa kwa ajili ya mashindano yepi ya humu nchini na kimataifa. Karibu zaidi kwenye KTN. Tuanze tu, mbio zimekuwaje John Lomoni?
Mbio zimekuwa sawa, ngangana, competition haikuwa rahisi, ngani nilikuwa nimejitayarisha.
Ulikuwa katika kundi, ukaanza kuacha
pressure leo.
washindi wanaenda kupewa, pengine umezipangia vipi na ulikuwa unazitarajia?
Sikuwa nazitarajia.
Shukrani zaidi na kila laheri bwana.
Asante.
John Lomoni akisema kwamba mbio hizi na ushindi huu unamaanisha kwake vema na
Marathon. Marathon is designed to showcase Iten and its scenic views. And earlier on, I was speaking to Lorna Kiplagat, a legend in athletics, and right about now, I'm joined on commentary. So, Bex. Really contributed to the growth of Iten. When you talk about athletics, she has really given back a lot to this society. Lorna Kiplagat.
Robinson, Lorna Kiplagat is one of the legends who are helping in the growth of athletics in Iten. She's one among many athletes. As you remember, Iten has a long history, it's a rich history in the development of global athletics. This is a small town that has produced so many stars. In fact, many people call this place the home of champions. Others call it the paradise of long distance running, because it has a long list of marathon greats. It has a long list of track stars. Talk of athletes like Ibrahim Hussein, who was here in St. Patrick's. Talk of the former world record holder in 3,000 meters steeplechases, Wilson Boyd Kipketer.
Yes.
He was here. He was nurtured here. Yes. He comes from Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Yes.
The list is just long. Yes.
Long list of legendary athletes from Elgeyo Marakwet County from here in Iten. Jonathan Comment, from where we began, where the race was flagged off in the morning, of course, almost 2,700 meters above sea level. And of course, these athletes are going through the course itself is very hard to crack. I mean, what do you make of the third edition of this Iten International Marathon?
Robinson, to be very, very precise,
Yes.
this is a race that I can say it is quite difficult, given the fact that it is being staged in high altitude area. You can imagine an athlete competing at 2,400 meters above sea level, which is not easy as compared to other marathons all over the world. Most of the marathons all over the world, especially in Europe and America, they are at sea level, like Berlin, Rotterdam, and even New York. They are slightly low altitude marathons, but this one is too high. It is quite energy saving for athletes, and I can compare this marathon with Mexico Marathon in Mexico City, which is high.
Of course, you went through the whole course before getting, as you are doing the break, stands out. It's a very, very, very the whole route. If you can take us through that from the start to the finish of the whole route.
Robinson, this is a course that showcases the home of champions. It was designed specifically to showcase where these athletes who conquer races across the globe train. From Chororget, where it starts, which has the same elevation as Iten, 2,400 meters above sea level.
Yes.
before you reach Kaptaragwa, you will have the opportunity, whether as an athlete competing in this race,
Yes.
or a fan,
Yes.
to have a glimpse of the KO escarpments. The KO escarpments are just scenic.
Yes.
They're scenic. Along the Kerio Valley is where you will spot the Rimoi National Game Reserve from a distance. You'll be able to have a view of Kapnorok Oxbow Lake,
Yes.
which is on the other side of Baringo. So the way this course has been designed is that it gives athletics and enthusiasts and also the athletes an opportunity to have a look at the beauty of Elgeyo Marakwet even as they compete. Along the entire course, you'll also be able to have a look at beautiful tea plantations along the way. You'll be able to know much about the agricultural activities along the route. You'll be able to look at the ups and downs of this course. You'll be able to look at features, several features, the forests, the eastern side.
Yes.
Remember, at the start, Kaptagat, which is another preferred training destination, is on your left as you come towards Iten. So this is a course that was well designed to showcase the areas that the athletes train. In fact, as you come all the way, you will pass the route to Kamarin Stadium.
Yes.
Just a few kilometers to Iten. That's about 3 or 4 kilometers to the finish, which is not far from here we are seated.
Yes.
So in Iten, you will now get to know about this small town, a small town that has a history of producing the world's most prolific athletes. You'll be able to see some of them training on the sites before you even arrive at the finish line. So, for those who do not know the history of Iten,
Yes.
Iten was a small town. It's a small town that its history dates back to around 1883. There was a foreigner by the name Thompson who identified a rock down here in Kesup. Kesup is on your way to Tambach, which is on the escarpments. He identified he was conquering the hills of Elgeyo Marakwet. And then the hill in Kesup, he just labeled it Hill 10. That was the 10th hill he was conquering. And then that name was corrupted by the locals and they called it Iten.
Yes.
It was actually Hill 10. And then this town was not the largest town and commercial hub of Elgeyo Marakwet. Tambaj was during the colonial period. Then afterwards, the center of power moved from Tambaj up to Iten. So that's just a brief history. So it's meant also to showcase the history of this town and athletics. And
Yes.
remember, even before maybe we proceed, just recently, town in France, Kenyan athletes prepared for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So they're now sisters. These are sister towns. Despite being miles away, these towns have been, just to say, conjoined. Thank you, Robinson.
Yes, of course. It's all about the battle to dethrone Luke Kiprop and Naomi Chepkorir, who won it last year. Luke Kiprop winning 2 hours, 30 minutes. 6 seconds. Last year, Charles Kimeli finished second as Edwin Yator was third. And in the women's side, we had Lina finishing second and Caroline Kimosop finishing third. So we want to see who will be the top 3 winners, or rather top 3 finishers of this race. And comment where we are just seated, we are not far from 2 of the schools that have produced world beaters. St. Patrick's Iten has produced world beaters, and these are 2 schools that have produced the best when you talk about track and road racing.
Well, Robinson, I think they are not only two schools here, but right from the start, at the starting point in Cherorkete,
yes.
It is just 2 kilometers away from Kapkende Girls High School, which has also produced some of the best athletes, among them Olympic champions. That is Nancy Chebet Lakat and even Veronica Nyaruai, who won the 3,000 meters at the World Under 20 Championships in Beijing, China in 2006. It is also the Cherorkete is also near the home of the late and then Kapkende Girls also produced Salina Koskei, the 2009 Boston Marathon winner. And among so many other athletes, and then we also have School Iten. St. Patrick's High School Iten have produced 40 Olympians, among them 21 Olympic medals. Yeah, you can imagine 40 Olympians and 21 Olympic medals for the country, all for St. Patrick's High School Iten. There is Singore Girls. We have Vivian Cheriot. The US-based Salek Biego studied. There is also the likes of Kipiwat, the champion, Fayola Kipiwat, among so many other athletes. I think going by the high level, that these 3 schools have produced the best athletes in the world. Again, it's good to understand that Iten is one of the best training sites in the world. I think it is Iten in Kenya and St. Moritz in Switzerland and Colorado in the US. Best athletics training centers in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, still talking about that, Koben, this Elgeyo Marakwet has produced some of the best athletes that we have in the country, and also legends. If you can pick these legends, I know there are very many, but if you can pick out some of these legends and some of the titles they've won.
I can to make it more precise is that Elgeyo Marakwet have produced the best. I think the Kenya's first. Look at Paul Cherov, Kenya's first national cross country champion. Paul Cherov is here with us. There is the first African to win Boston and New York Marathon. There is this athlete called there is athletes like Vivian Cheriot to have won 2 Olympic medals in one championships. There are people like Ezekiel Kemboi to have won 2 Olympic gold medals. They come from this county. There is even David Rudisha, who was in Cameroon High School here. He won 2 Olympic gold medals in 800 meters. That is in London 2012 and in Rio 2016. Those are some of the few athletes who have actually performed very well in athletics, and they come from this county.
Remember, on the left side of your screen, that is the men's race currently going on, and on the right side of your screen, that is the women's race currently going on. And so far, we have covered 1 hour 12 minutes, and we'll be waiting to see who will be the winner of the 3rd edition of the Iten International Marathon that is set to end here in Iten town, and winners get 1 million Kenya shillings. And this is a race that has been known to be a launch pad for the careers of some of the athletes. They use this, that it can propel them to the world. Steve, what do you have to say about that? You know, this is where you get recognized.
Robinson.
Yes.
I'll pick one example.
Yes.
Of last year's winner, Lucky Prop.
Yes.
Lucky Prop rose from an athlete who won that race in borrowed shoes. He borrowed shoes from world 10,000 meters silver medalist Daniel Lebenyo, Simiu, who is his training mate.
Yes.
After winning this race, Lucky Prop was spotted by managements.
Yes.
And guess what happened this year? He competed in the Berlin Marathon, his first world major, and finished a strong 12 in Berlin.
Yes.
And as we speak,
on his debut.
Yes, in September. And as we speak, Lucky Prop, who is trained by Eric Kogo, alongside the likes of Ebenyo and the likes of Alamisi, Andrew Alamisi, who is the world under 20 5,000 meters champion, is preparing to compete in Boston Marathon next year.
Very, very impressive.
That is how local races can propel an athlete into the global arena. So I have just picked one example, but many of these athletes who've competed in local races such as Iten International Marathon get the opportunity to be spotted and get the opportunities to compete in global races. You can imagine from Iten International Marathon to a world major. That is what it means.
You also had a chance of speaking to athletes that did not win last year, and they said that, you know, they have to do whatever possible to make sure that they win this year.
Yes, a number of them could not finish in the top 20 because remember, athletes coming to compete in Iten are super fast. They understand the terrain. They understand the course very well. This is where fans cheer athletes, calling them by their names alongside the course, calling them by their names. This is where athletes from the same training camp, because they know each other, the fans know the athletes. Also an exciting competition because they train where they train.
Yes.
So those who competed last year and could not make it to the top 20 are awarded prizes. They are saying this year their target is the top 20 because no one would claim to come to Iten and be sure of taking the top prize. Most of them are targeting 20, top 10, having learned their lessons. Last year, and this year they are back.
Strategy is all what it takes to win this race. Of course, that is the Iten International Marathon. And speaking of which, of course, we've not seen anybody else retain this marathon. It's all about new winner, new year. And comment, when you talk about such a marathon, we've seen it's also the battle of counties. Elgeyo Marakwet, you have Uasin-Gishu, and then there's Nandi.
Looking at you see, it is a battle between three counties. That is the Nandi County, who call themselves the source of champions, Eldoret City, which is the city of champions, and of course Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet, which is the home of champions. If you look at it critically, Nandi were the first county to produce world beaters, the likes of Kipchoge Keino, Amos Priot, and 1964-68. And then getting back to Elgeyo Marakwet, they picked up athletics a bit later. Even the colonialists did not venture too much into this county. So the athletics started as a missionary venture here, as opposed to the other counties. Washington Gishu now is the beneficiary of the two counties, because most of the athletes who win the big races, make money, they invest in Washington Gishu. So Washington Gishu is actually an investment zone for these athletes. They were not born and bred from there, but it's an investment zone for athletes. That is why they go to the City of Champions. But in most cases, most of the athletes come from either Elgeyo Marakwet or the Nandi County. Yeah.
Yes, that is the battle of counties, as you say. But one thing that stands, Steve, here in Iten, kilometers without seeing athletes running in the morning, and it's very, very interesting that the athletes camps are many.
Who is on the lead in the women's 42 kilometers.